I've been watching the car market for a long time, and what just happened is going to make a lot of folks rethink buying an SUV in 2025. The industry quietly pulled the trigger on a move that makes today's SUVs feel ancient overnight. More than $7 billion thrown into technology nobody saw coming, and one upcoming model so wild that even rival engineers are calling it impossible. If you're planning to buy an SUV in 2025, hold up. Because the best new SUVs coming in 2026 completely rewrite the rulebook. What's coming next isn't just an upgrade, it's a turning point every SUV buyer needs to see first. Stay with me, because these upcoming 2026 SUVs could be the difference between saving thousands or making a decision you'll regret. We're starting at number 6 with a model that comes with a surprise no one asked for. And once you hear what it does, you'll understand why it's already stirring up arguments around the world. 2026 Toyota Land Cruiser SE. The 2026 Land Cruiser SE is Toyota going back to its roots, building an SUV that's meant to survive anything you can throw at it. While every other brand is leaning into touchscreen overload and software subscriptions, Toyota did the opposite. They dropped a hybrid inline-six that feels smooth, dependable, and very un-EV-like in all the right ways. It's the kind of powertrain older buyers trust, because Toyota's hybrid systems have already proven they can last 250,000 miles without drama. But then, Toyota did something nobody expected. They added a 24/7 exterior recording system that monitors the entire perimeter of the SUV, even when it's parked. Full 360-degree cameras, night vision capability, and automatic cloud uploads. And yes, with a warrant, law enforcement can access the footage. Toyota says it's for theft prevention. Critics say it's surveillance. Two countries don't like it at all. They blocked sales of the Land Cruiser SE until Toyota removes that feature. Outside of that controversy, everything else about the Land Cruiser SE is classic Toyota durability. A body-on-frame platform built to take abuse, manual locking differentials that don't rely on software, physical controls you can use with gloves, and a layout designed to be repaired by a mechanic, not an IT department. In a market full of tech-heavy SUVs that age faster than smartphones, the 2026 Land Cruiser SE stands out for a different reason. It's built to last long after the trendy stuff breaks. Now, if that was the definition of old-school toughness, the next SUV shows the opposite side of where 2026 is headed. Something far more refined, efficient, and engineered for everyday driving. The 2026 Mazda CX-90 PHEV. This SUV is built for drivers like you and me, people who love the idea of electric power, but don't want to spend their lives hunting for charging stations or worrying about winter range loss. Mazda finally delivered the middle ground everyone's been asking for. You get 33 miles of pure electric driving, which covers most daily errands, grocery runs, and commutes without burning a drop of gas. Then, when you need to travel farther, a turbocharged inline-six quietly takes over. No stress, no planning, no range anxiety, just go. And let me tell you, that inline-six isn't just a practical backup. It brings back something modern SUVs forgot about: emotion. It sounds rich, it revs smooth, and it gives this family hauler a personality that Turbo 4s and silent EV motors just can't match. It's the kind of engine older drivers instantly appreciate because it reminds us of when cars actually felt alive. Inside, Mazda went for a level of refinement that honestly shouldn't be possible at this price. It's got that Lexus feel without the Lexus price tag. Real stitching, quality materials, clean Japanese design. Nothing cheap, nothing fake, nothing gimmicky. And the sound system? It was tuned in partnership with a 12-time Grammy-winning audio engineer, so when you turn up your favorite classic rock station, every instrument sits exactly where it should. It's one of the best sound stages in any SUV under $70,000. But the real magic is underneath. The CX-90 PHEV uses rear-wheel steering, so at low speeds, the back wheels turn opposite the front. That means tight U-turns, easy parking, and a turning turning radius that feels one size smaller than the SUV actually is. At higher speeds, the wheels turn together for extra stability and smoother lane changes. The CX-90 PHEV is proof that you don't have to pick sides between gas and electric. Mazda found the sweet spot. And if Mazda found the perfect middle ground between gas and electric, the next one shows what happens when an automaker goes all in on EV tech and actually gets it right. The 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 9. The Hyundai Ioniq 9 is the SUV nobody expected to shake up the market, but it's quietly becoming the one every other automaker is watching. On paper, it looks like another three-row EV, until you see what it actually does. This thing can charge from 0 to 80% in just 18 minutes. I'm talking grab a coffee, use the restroom, come back to 300 more miles of range levels of speed. For older drivers like me who don't have the patience for long charging stops, that's a game changer. But the real surprise is inside. Because of the EV platform and a completely flat floor, the Ioniq 9 has more usable space than some full-size SUVs. The third row isn't a punishment. Adults can actually sit back there without folding themselves up like origami. And if you've ever tried fitting real passengers in the back of a three-row SUV, you know how rare that is. Hyundai didn't stop there. They added pixel-based LED projection headlights that can literally shine warning symbols onto the road. Pedestrians see what you're doing before you do it. Cyclists get visual alerts. Even insurance companies are starting to take notice because features like this can lower accident risk, and long-term, that can mean lower premiums. But the Ioniq 9's biggest flex might be its 11-kilowatt vehicle-to-load system. That's enough electricity to run a campsite, power tools, or keep your refrigerator running during an outage. One SUV effectively becomes a silent generator. If you live in an area with storms or unreliable power, this is the kind of feature that pays for itself the first time you need it. Now, let's talk winter. Most EVs lose 30 to 40% of their range when temperatures drop. The Ioniq 9 loses closer to 10%, thanks to a super efficient heat pump system. That's huge for anyone living in the Midwest, Northeast, or at higher elevations. Less range loss means fewer charging stops and lower long-term operating costs. But if you think that was impressive, wait until you see how one American brand is gearing up to take this idea and push it in a completely different direction. The 2026 Ford Explorer EV. The 2026 Ford Explorer EV is the SUV Ford should have built years ago. And now that it's finally coming, it's shaping up to be one of the most important electric SUVs in America. Ford took the nameplate that practically built the US family SUV market and rebuilt it on a brand new dedicated EV platform. And the first thing that jumps out? Fast charging that rivals Hyundai and Tesla. Ford is promising 10 to 80% in under 20 minutes, which means the road trip complaints about the Mustang Mach-E have officially been fixed. But here's the part older drivers will appreciate. Ford didn't turn this into a spaceship. The layout is simple, the controls make sense, you don't need a software degree to change the temperature, and you still get that upright, confident SUV seating position the Explorer has always been known for. Ford also packed the Explorer EV with serious safety tech. The new Blue Cruise 1.4 system brings hands-free lane changes, smart highway navigation, and adaptive speed that reacts to real traffic, making long interstate drives feel smoother and far less tiring. And while it offers up to 450 horsepower from its dual-motor AWD setup, the real headline is towing. Ford engineered this thing to pull up to 5,000 pounds without overheating or losing half its range. A huge win for anyone hauling a trailer or boat. Cold weather drivers weren't forgotten either. A new vapor cycle thermal system keeps the battery at the right temperature, so you don't lose massive range every time the temperature drops. It finally puts Ford's winter performance on the same level as Hyundai, Kia, and Tesla. And right after that, things get even more intense, because the next model isn't just evolving, it's engineered to make every rival nervous. The 2026 BMW iX3 M60. The 2026 BMW iX3 M60 is what happens when BMW gets tired of being compared to everyone else and decides to remind the world who invented the modern performance SUV. This thing comes out swinging with 533 horsepower and an adaptive M suspension that can stiffen or soften faster than you can blink. 1 second, it's soaking up potholes like a luxury cruiser. The next, it's tightening up like a sports sedan hunting apexes. It feels alive in a way most EVs simply don't. Inside, BMW basically turned the cabin into a rolling IMAX theater with a massive 31-inch curved display that wraps into your field of vision. No bezels, no gaps, just a seamless sheet of digital real estate that makes every other SUV screen look outdated. And for the first time ever in a BMW SUV, the soundtrack of your drive was co-created by Hans Zimmer. Yes, that Hans Zimmer. The system blends synthetic tones with drive inputs to give electric acceleration the emotional punch gasoline engines used to provide. It's surprisingly addictive. But here's where things start changing the rulebook. The iX3 M60 supports level 3 autonomy under 40 miles per hour, meaning in qualifying traffic you can legally take your hands off the wheel. The car handles steering, braking, lane positioning, all the boring stuff while you supervise. Your daily commute suddenly feels half as stressful. Now the part nobody talks about until it's too late. The software ownership model. The iX3 M60 gets mandatory over-the-air updates. Skip one, and BMW can void your warranty. Miss payments on connected features, and BMW can disable them remotely. Heated seats, performance boosts, advanced driver assistance, they're all software controlled. But even with all that performance and tech, the last SUV proves you don't need to be flashy to make a huge impact on the 2026 lineup. The 2026 Honda Prologue Touring. The 2026 Honda Prologue Touring is the EV people kept begging Honda to build. Practical, comfortable, and engineered for drivers who care more about long-term reliability than hype. Honda teamed up with GM for the battery tech, but kept everything else pure Honda. Simple controls, familiar ergonomics, and a driving feel that doesn't overwhelm you with tech or touchscreen clutter. It's an EV designed for real people, not early adopters. The big news is the range. The Prologue Touring stretches up to 315 miles, putting it shoulder to shoulder with the Ioniq 5, EV6, and even some Teslas. And it fast charges from 20 to 80% in about 25 minutes, something the older Honda Clarity couldn't dream of. Inside, Honda focused on usability over gimmicks. You get a wide, open cabin with excellent visibility, physical climate knobs, and a simple, clean layout that avoids the tablet glued to a dashboard trend. It feels familiar, the kind of interior older shoppers appreciate instantly. The Touring trim adds a quieter cabin, upgraded seating, and a premium audio system that finally puts Honda's EV efforts on the same playing field as Hyundai and Kia. And here's what really makes the Prologue stand out. Honda engineered the chassis to drive like a true Honda. Balanced steering, smooth ride quality, confident cornering. It feels more like a refined CR-V than a bulky battery-powered crossover. For anyone nervous about switching to electric, that familiarity is huge. Honda also didn't ignore cold weather drivers. The Prologue uses a smart heat pump thermal system that protects winter range far better than early EVs. You won't lose half your battery the moment temperatures drop below freezing. A big deal for Midwestern and Northern buyers. The more you dig into what's coming in 2026, the more obvious it becomes why so many people are hitting the brakes on a 2025 purchase. Next year isn't shaping up to be a simple refresh or a half step forward. It's a complete reset. Automakers are rolling out tech that finally feels mature, electric ranges that actually fit real life, cold weather performance that doesn't fall apart the minute temperatures drop, and a level of reliability that clearly separates the new generation from everything built over the past decade. Buying right now means locking yourself into features, performance, and capability that already feel a generation generation behind. And once these 2026 models hit the road, that gap is only going to get more noticeable, with resale values following right behind it. That's why, for anyone shopping in 2025, the smartest financial decision is simple. Wait. The SUVs landing in 2026 bring better capability, more efficient powertrains, far cheaper long-term ownership, and a durability standard that actually matches their price tags. The industry is moving fast, and the vehicles heading our way next year are clearly built with the future in mind, not just the next few years. I'd love to know what you think. Which of these upcoming 2026 SUVs surprised you the most, or maybe changed what you were planning to buy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay ahead of everything happening in this fast-changing market, make sure to subscribe. The next year is going to reshape the SUV world in a big way, and I'll be right here breaking it all down for you.